I sit on the edge of my parents' leather couch, the living room wrapped in the glow of Christmas morning. The scent of cinnamon rolls wafts from the kitchen, but it does nothing to soften the hard knot in my chest. Across from me, my younger sister Madison claps her hands, her manicured nails catching the twinkle of the tree lights. A pair of shiny BMW keys dangle from her fingers like the crown jewels. She bounces on her toes, squealing, "Oh my God, my own car." Through the bay window, I can see it. A brand new white BMW parked in the driveway, gleaming even in the weak winter sun. A massive red bow sits on the hood, so big it looks like something out of a commercial. Mom presses her hands to her chest like she's watching a miracle unfold. Dad beams at Madison, pride radiating from him like heat. 32 years of raising two daughters, and it feels like they only ever raised one. Meanwhile, I glance down at the weight in my lap. A plastic envelope. Inside it, 2 crisp $1 bills. That's it. $2. Open it. Mom urges, her voice too cheerful, as if this moment isn't humiliating. I peel open the plastic and stare at the lonely pair of bills sliding into my palm. Dad waves his hand dismissively. "It's the start of something bigger," he says. "A savings habit. You've always been so responsible with money. Not like some people." He shoots Madison a playful wink. She laughs, pretending to be offended. The silence in the room stretches thin, like a wire about to snap. Finally, Mom fills it. "Your sister needs reliable transportation for her career. Image is everything in marketing, honey." Madison drops onto the couch beside me, her perfume smothering, her smile patronizing. She pats my knee like I'm a child. "Don't worry, sis. I'll give you rides whenever your old Honda breaks down. God knows that thing must be on its last breath." My jaw tightens. That old Honda has carried me through late-night commutes, weekend road trips, and 7 years of grinding on my own. I paid it off myself. It might not shine like her BMW, but it's never failed me. And in that moment, something inside me snaps. Not like a dramatic explosion, more like a quiet, clean break. 34 years of being the afterthought, the backup plan, the dependable one. A lifetime of watching them pour every ounce of love, money, and attention into Madison while tossing me scraps. This isn't new. It's just the clearest it's ever been. This morning, I had rehearsed a different script in my head. I'd imagined their smiles as I told them about my promotion, senior architect at the firm, the result of nights and weekends sacrificed. I'd wrapped thoughtful gifts, a leather briefcase for Dad, the silver necklace Mom admired in a boutique, the tablet Madison had casually mentioned wanting. I had imagined, stupidly, that maybe this year would be different. Instead, I'm holding $2 while my sister twirls keys to a luxury car. My chest feels heavy, as if concrete is hardening around my ribs. I place the plastic envelope on the glass coffee table. The sound is hollow, final. "Excuse me," I manage, my voice steady though it doesn't feel like mine. Bathroom. I climb the stairs, passing the hallway of family portraits, Madison smiling from every frame, trophies in hand, my own presence barely noticeable in the background. In the bathroom, I lock the door and stare at my reflection. Too calm, too composed. My eyes are dry, but my heart aches with something worse than heartbreak. It's like suffocation. People always say heartbreak feels dramatic, like shattering glass. But for me, it feels like being erased slowly until nothing of me is left. That night, I lie awake in my childhood bedroom, listening to Madison's laughter drift up from downstairs as she and my parents plan her first road trip in the BMW. I stare at the ceiling until 2 a.m., when the silence becomes unbearable. At 2:17, I sit up. The decision feels sudden, but it's been building for decades. I pack quietly, choosing only what matters: my laptop, a faded stuffed fox from my grandmother, a photo album from college, the blueprint from my first building design. The gifts I gave them this morning stay wrapped beneath the tree. They were never really about gratitude. I pause in the kitchen, holding my house key in my palm. The cold metal feels like the last thread tethering me here. I set it down beside the coffee maker. My parents made their choice tonight, and now I'm making mine. By 3:42 a.m., the roads are empty. My old Honda hums beneath me as the city lights blur into halos in the rearview mirror. Snowflakes swirl against the windshield, the wipers fighting to keep up. The radio plays Bing Crosby crooning about a white Christmas. I twist the knob until silence fills the car. My throat tightens. "Merry Christmas," I whisper to no one. My phone buzzes on the passenger seat. "Mom." I swipe it away without answering. A minute later, it lights up again. "Dad," then Madison. None of them asking if I'm safe. None of them saying they love me. Instead, the last message I see before I shut the phone off is a reminder from Dad. Don't forget the electric bill for the lake cabin. The cabin they bought for Madison's Instagram photo shoots. My grip on the steering wheel trembles. Memories blur with the snow. Madison's 5th birthday, with pony rides and a castle cake. Mine, the following year, sheet cake from the grocery store, 2 kids from down the street, paper hats from the dollar bin. The pattern is too clear to ignore anymore, and I'm done pretending it doesn't hurt. The motel room smells faintly of bleach and old carpet, the kind of sterile anonymity that makes it impossible to know whether you're in Ohio or Oregon. I pull the curtain shut, blocking out the flickering neon sign from the diner across the street. It's 4:30 a.m. My Honda sits in the parking lot below, coated in a thin layer of snow. My suitcase rests at the foot of the bed, half-zipped, clothes spilling out like I left in too much of a hurry to care. Which is true. The TV remote lies on the nightstand, but I can't bring myself to turn it on. The silence feels more honest. I sit on the edge of the bed, staring at my phone. 3 missed calls from Mom, 2 from Dad, 6 from Madison. Not a single voicemail. Not a single text asking why. Only unanswered rings, as if they expected me to pick up and apologize. Again. I toss the phone onto the bed, face down. The plastic envelope with the $2 bills falls out of my jacket pocket and lands beside it. I pick it up, turning the bills over between my fingers. They feel heavier than they should, like lead disguised as paper. $2. After a lifetime of straight A's, late-night study sessions, scholarships earned without their help, promotions clawed for on my own. $2. The tears come then, sharp and hot. I press the heels of my hands against my eyes, as if I can block them, but they slip through anyway. Not the messy sobs of a teenager, but the quiet kind that sting more because of their control. When the storm inside me finally quiets, I lie back on the bed and stare at the ceiling. I think about the Christmas mornings I used to love. The year I was 6, when I asked Santa for a dollhouse. Madison got one with working lights and miniature furniture. I got a puzzle of a dollhouse. "It'll teach you patience," Dad said with a proud smile. Or the year I was 10, when Madison unwrapped a pink bicycle with streamers, and I unwrapped a set of math workbooks. "Because you're the smart one," Mom explained, as though it were a prize. Even then, I knew. The roles had been cast. Madison, the princess, delicate and deserving. Me, the workhorse, reliable and self-sufficient. The $2 bills burn in my palm. Not because of what they're worth, but because of what they mean. A lifetime of being told, "You'll be fine." She needs this more. At 9 a.m., sunlight filters through the thin curtains, pulling me from shallow sleep. My phone buzzes again. A text from Madison. "Sis, where are you?" Mom's freaking out. "Just call and apologize so we can move on." Apologize. The word tastes bitter in my mouth. I set the phone down and get up. The motel mirror is cracked at the corner, but it still reflects a face I barely recognize. My eyes are swollen, my hair tangled, but there's something steadier there too. Something new. I check out before noon and drive aimlessly, the Honda's heater blasting against the cold. Snow gives way to rain as I cross state lines, gray skies swallowing the horizon. Somewhere near Sacramento, I pull into a rest stop and buy a cheap notebook from a vending machine. In the front seat of my car, I write the first entry. Day 1, I left. Not sure where I'm going, but anywhere is better than back. The act feels small, but it steadies me, like anchoring myself to the page when the rest of my life feels unmoored. By evening, I reach San Francisco. The city lights blink through the fog as I cross the Bay Bridge, my Honda rattling like it doesn't belong among the gleaming Teslas and SUVs. I check into another motel, smaller, but at least the sheets smell clean. That night, I scroll through apartment listings on my phone. Too expensive, too cramped, too far from downtown. Every option feels impossible. My bank account has enough for maybe 3 months of rent if I'm careful. After that, unclear. For the first time, panic claws at my chest. What if I made a mistake? What if leaving wasn't bravery, but recklessness dressed in anger? I close the phone and sit on the bed, knees pulled to my chest. The rain pounds against the window, relentless. In the quiet, I hear Grandma's voice, soft and steady. You can build anything if you start with a strong foundation. She told me that when I was 12, while teaching me to mix clay for pottery in her tiny garage studio. She was the only one who ever saw me, not just what I could produce. The thought anchors me. Maybe I don't have all the answers yet, but I have the first brick of a foundation. I left. The next morning, I walk into a cafe down the block, order the cheapest coffee on the menu, and open my laptop. The glow of the screen feels like possibility. I start a spreadsheet. Expenses, savings, timelines. If I tighten my budget, I can make this work. I can survive without them. When I glance up, the barista with dark curls catches my eye and smiles. Not the polite, automatic kind, but something warmer. Something that makes me feel, for the first time in years, like I exist outside of being the forgotten daughter. I smile back, clutching my coffee cup. Maybe this is what freedom feels like, terrifying, uncertain, but alive. The motel air tastes like bleach and stale smoke. I drop onto the edge of the bed, the mattress dipping under me like it's been carrying other people's secrets for years. The fluorescent light hums above my head, too bright, too honest. It's 3:17 a.m. My suitcase is half unzipped, spilling clothes onto the carpet. The 2 crumpled bills sit on the nightstand, framed by shadows. I can't stop staring at them. $2. That's what I was worth. My phone buzzes again. Mom, then Dad, then Madison. I flip the screen face down without answering. Not one message asks if I'm okay. Not one word of apology. Just missed calls stacking up like bricks in a wall I have no intention of climbing. I press my palms to my eyes until stars spark in the darkness. I tell myself not to cry, but the tears don't listen. They come anyway, hot and silent, slipping into my hairline. When the wave passes, I lie back on the bed and remember. I remember Christmas when I was 7. Madison unwrapped a karaoke machine with flashing lights, a microphone that made her feel like a star. My gift? A thrift store sweater 2 sizes too big, with the tags still half ripped. Practical, Dad said, like it was a compliment. I remember middle school. Madison got art lessons at a private studio across town. I got a stack of library math workbooks. You'll thank us someday, Mom said. And now, this Christmas. A BMW wrapped in a bow for Madison. 2 bills for me. My throat burns. I pick them up again, feeling the edges dig into my fingertips. Paper shouldn't feel this heavy. At 8 a.m., sunlight cuts through the thin curtains, stabbing me awake. My phone lights up with a new text. Madison, just call Mom. Apologize and we can forget this ever happened. Forget. As if decades of being invisible can be erased with an apology I don't owe. I toss the phone onto the bed, throw my bag in the back of my car, and drive. Snow melts into rain as I head south, wipers squeaking across the windshield. My body runs on caffeine and adrenaline, but the road feels like oxygen. Somewhere near Sacramento, I pull into a rest stop. The vending machine offers gum, candy, and, oddly, a thin notebook wrapped in plastic. I buy it. Back in the driver's seat, I peel off the wrapper and scrawl the first words with a pen from my glove compartment. Day 1. I left. I don't know where I'm going yet, but I know I can't go back. It's clumsy, messy, but it feels like claiming space on paper after years of having none in life. By the time I reach San Francisco, night has fallen. The fog clings low over the bay, the bridge lights glittering like jewels in the dark. My Honda rattles as I merge with traffic, but I feel like I've crossed into another world. The motel I check into this time is smaller, cleaner. The sheets smell faintly of lemon. I collapse onto the bed, shoes still on, and stare at the ceiling until sleep drags me under. Morning brings doubt like a punch to the gut. Rent prices on my phone screen are astronomical. Even the budget apartments are double what I can afford. 3 months of savings, maybe 4 if I live like a ghost. My chest tightens. What if I made a mistake? What if leaving wasn't courage, but recklessness dressed up as defiance? I close the phone and sit in silence, fighting the rising panic. Then I hear my grandmother's voice, faint but steady, like a thread weaving through memory. You can build anything if you start with a strong foundation. She told me that when I was 12, kneeling beside her in the garage as she showed me how to knead clay. She was the only one who ever saw me not as the capable one, not as the strong one, but simply as me. The memory steadies me. I grab the notebook and write again. Day 2. Even if the future terrifies me, at least it's mine. Later that morning, I walk into a cafe down the block, order the cheapest coffee on the menu, and claim a corner table with my laptop. I make a spreadsheet. Rent, groceries, car insurance, emergency fund. The numbers are ugly, but numbers don't lie. Unlike my family, when I glance up, the barista catches my eye. Dark curls, kind eyes, a smile that doesn't feel forced. For a split second, I feel seen. Not as the forgotten daughter, not as the family scapegoat, just me. It's small, but it's enough to breathe again. I sip my bitter coffee, open the notebook, and keep writing. The third morning in San Francisco, I wake up to the motel's paper-thin curtains leaking sunlight across my face. For the first time in years, I don't hear my mother banging pots in the kitchen, or my father barking at the news, or Madison humming along to a new playlist on her designer speakers. It's silent, and the silence feels like oxygen. On the desk, my laptop screen glows with an email draft I've rewritten 12 times. Dear Ms. Ramirez, I'm writing to formally request a transfer to the San Francisco office, effective immediately. My finger hovers over the trackpad, my chest thundering. One click separates me from the life I've always known. From the house where love was rationed like breadcrumbs. From the endless hierarchy where Madison was royalty and I was the servant who never complained loudly enough. I click send before I can talk myself out of it. No family favors. No one pulling strings. Just my work record as a junior architect. My reputation for details, my worth mine. 3 hours later, an email arrives. Approved. Welcome to San Francisco. Start date, Monday. I read it 3 times, certain my eyes are lying. But the words stay. They're real. I lean back in the stiff motel chair, staring at the ceiling as something foreign fills my chest. Relief. Pride. The sense that maybe, just maybe, I've been capable of building my own path all along. You look like someone who just got good news, a voice says. I glance up. It's the barista from the cafe down the block, the one with the dark curls and soft smile. She's balancing a tray of muffins for the motel's breakfast bar. Transfer went through, I admit, surprising myself with honesty. New office. New start. Her grin lights up her whole face. Congratulations. That deserves something better than powdered eggs and motel coffee. She sets a blueberry muffin on my desk, wrapped in a napkin. On the house. Welcome to the neighborhood. I don't even know her name yet, but the gesture nearly undoes me. Genuine kindness without strings feels like a language I barely understand. Later that night, the barista, Monica, as I learn leans in my motel doorway, curls bouncing as she tells me about her book club, her pottery class, her friend who manages apartments in the Mission District. Rent control, she says. Safe building. 20-minute walk to your new office. I already gave her your number. You didn't have to, I start. I wanted to, she cuts in. Firm but warm. Friends help friends. No strings attached. Novel concept for you, huh? The words land sharper than she knows. No scorekeeping. No obligation. Just help freely given. Tears burn at the back of my throat, but I manage a nod. Thank you. 2 weeks later, I'm unpacking in a 600-square-foot apartment with hardwood floors and sunlight that pours through west-facing windows like a blessing. The place is empty, but the emptiness feels intentional, not impoverished. Space to grow into. I buy a futon, a lamp, and a desk. Nothing more. And on my bookshelf, I place the notebook. 2 entries so far. Both raw. Both mine. Monica shows up the next Saturday, tugging me out of the apartment with mock sternness. Pottery class, she declares. I protest, but 10 minutes later my hands are buried in cool clay, slippery and stubborn all at once. The instructor, an older woman with silver hair, leans over my shoulder. Don't force it, she murmurs. Listen to what it wants to become. My fingers tremble as they shape something from nothing. By the end of class, I've created a small, lopsided bowl. It's ugly, beautiful, entirely mine. The following Tuesday, I sit across from Dr. Levin, a therapist whose office smells faintly of lemon polish and old books. She wears reading glasses on a chain, shoes that don't make a sound on the carpet. She doesn't rush the silence, just lets it stretch until I finally whisper the word that's been lodged in my chest for years. Favoritism. The word feels strange in the air, like a secret planet pulled into orbit. My whole life, I add. Dr. Levin tilts her head. And how did that make you feel? I choke on the answer. My throat tightens. My palms sweat. But then it spills out, sharp and clean. Like I was worth exactly $2. The truth hangs between us. Heavy, unshakable, but freeing somehow because it's finally said aloud. That night, back in my apartment, I take the piggy bank I bought on a whim, a pink plastic one, shaped like a cartoon pig, and slip 2 crisp bills inside. Not as punishment, not as proof of pain, but as a reminder. Every week, I'll add another. Not for them. For me. A ritual of freedom. The ivory envelope sits on my counter for 3 days before I open it. Cousin Vanessa's wedding. My name in careful calligraphy, Samantha Brooks. No +1. No guest. Just me. Expected to slide back into the family tableau alone, like the missing puzzle piece they suddenly remembered. By the time I unfold the card, my stomach already knots. Are you going? Dr. Levin asks a week later, her reading glasses balanced low on her nose. I think so, I admit. But on my terms. Her eyebrow arches. That's a change. I booked a room at the Hilton. For blocks from the venue. Dad's already left 2 voicemails telling me to stay in their rental house. I didn't respond. The corner of her mouth twitches. Boundaries don't always need words. Sometimes silence is enough. 7 months of therapy have given me that vocabulary, the language of self-protection. Meanwhile, my phone buzzes on the armrest. Madison. Her 3rd text today. Can't wait to see you at the wedding. We need sister time before the madness. I tuck the phone face down into my purse. 7 months ago, I would have answered instantly, ready to shoulder her stress. Now, I let the message sit unanswered. At night, I spread out Vanessa's seating chart on my kitchen table. I nearly laugh. My name is squeezed between Mom and Dad, directly across from Madison. A picture-perfect family photo come to life. I pick up my phone, call Vanessa. I have a request. About the seating arrangement. The Friday of the rehearsal dinner arrives, San Francisco fog lifting as my plane lands in Portland. From the window, the old landscape spreads beneath me, streets and rivers soaked with childhood memories that suddenly feel foreign. I straighten my blazer as I walk toward the glowing rehearsal venue, Monica's pendant warm in my palm. She pressed it into my hand before I left. Strength isn't about not being afraid, she said. It's about being afraid and walking anyway. I push open the heavy wooden door. Conversations stop mid-laugh. Heads turn. My mother's hand flies to her throat. My father freezes mid-sip. Madison blinks too quickly. But I'm not the same. The girl who left on Christmas morning was all jagged edges and shadows. This woman, hair pinned back, emerald silk blouse catching the light, heels clicking like a metronome, is solid. Sam. Madison rushes forward, arms open. Her hug is quick, but different. Not as entitled. Not as certain of her place. Her designer watch is gone, roots showing through her highlights. "You look amazing," she says. "Thanks." I step back. "How's the BMW?" Her smile falters. I had to trade it in. Payments were too much. Got a Honda. More practical. For once, she looks human. Across the room, I see my parents huddled with Aunt Judith. Mom dabs her eyes with a cocktail napkin, always tears, always strategic. Dad's shoulders slump in a way I've never seen before. Cousin Tara sidles up with a drink. "God, I'm glad you're here. You wouldn't believe the drama." "Your parents?" "Selling the house. Medical bills, they're saying, but everyone knows they've been floating Madison for years." Her words slide over me like waves hitting rock. Once, I would have drowned in them. Now, I just let them pass. A waiter offers champagne. I take a glass, watching bubbles rise and burst. Just like the stories my family tells, shiny, delicate, but gone in seconds. Uncle Simon clasps my hand. "You're looking well, Sam. That new job in San Francisco treating you right. Senior project architect now, I say." The words taste new, but steady. His eyebrows lift. "That's incredible." More relatives orbit closer. Cousin Michael mutters that he always noticed how differently I was treated. Aunt Martha hugs me too tightly and whispers about Mom's new anxiety medication. By the time Dad corners me near the bar, his breath smells like bourbon. Family sticks together, he growls, that old authority dripping from every syllable. "Does it?" I ask softly. "Or do some members stick together while others get pushed aside?" His face reddens. "We always supported you." I tilt my glass, watching the bubbles burst. $2 in a piggy bank. That was your definition of support. He opens his mouth, closes it, then turns away. In the ladies' room, Mom appears at my elbow, clutching tissues. "We miss you so much," she whispers, reaching for my hand. I keep rinsing mine under cool water. The soap slips through my fingers. "I miss who I thought you were, too." Her reflection blurs in the mirror behind me. On the terrace later, Madison pulls me aside, away from the noise of the dinner. The roses below send their scent into the air. "The BMW got repossessed," she blurts. "I'm drowning in debt. Design clients are gone. Dad can't bail me out anymore." I don't know how to do this." Her voice cracks. The confession hangs between us. 7 months ago, I would have offered solutions, money, space to crash. I would have carried her weight too, but not tonight. I touch her arm lightly. "That sounds really hard, Mads. I'm sorry you're going through it." Her eyes widen compassion without rescue. A foreign thing between us. "I can help you make a budget," I add gently, "but I can't fix this for you." For the first time, she has no comeback. Just silence. And in that silence, I realize something. I am not afraid anymore. The morning sun slants through the bridal suite windows, painting everything in soft gold. Vanessa twirls in her gown, radiant, glowing, while bridesmaids flutter around her like butterflies. Aunt Martha tugs my sleeve. "Sam, your parents are asking for you. They're in the library. Said it's urgent." I knew this moment would come. 7 months since I walked out of their house, leaving nothing but a note and a lifetime of grief. "Thanks," I tell her, keeping my voice even. "I'll go after I help Vanessa with her veil." She squeezes my arm. "They said it's a family emergency." Of course they did. 30 minutes later, I stand before the heavy library doors. My hand hesitates on the knob before I push it open. Mom sits upright in a high-backed chair, tissues already clenched. Dad paces by the fireplace, jaw tight. Madison lingers by the window, her dress worth more than 3 months of my San Francisco rent, though the BMW is long gone. "Sam, thank God," Mom breathes, rising to reach for me. "We need to talk. As a family." I don't move from the doorway. The ceremony starts in 40 minutes. "Sit," Dad orders, gesturing to a chair deliberately placed to face them all. The setup screams intervention. I close the door behind me. My heartbeat is steady. I'm listening. Madison steps forward first. "Sam, This has gone far enough. Dad lost his job 3 months ago. Mom's been depressed. And now they're selling the house. Mom dabs at her eyes, voice trembling. This all started when you left. The perfect trifecta: financial ruin, emotional collapse, and guilt, all wrapped neatly to hand me responsibility. 7 months ago, I would have broken under it. But not today. I walk to the chair, set my purse beside me, and sit tall. I'm sorry to hear about your job, Dad. And Mom, I'm glad you're getting help. Confusion ripples across their faces. Not guilt. Not apology. Just calm acknowledgement. Madison frowns. Didn't you hear us? They're selling the house because of you. No, I say evenly. They're selling it because of choices they made long before I left. I pull a leather-bound album from my bag. I brought something to show you. Mom sighs. We don't have time. You called this meeting, I cut in. So, we have time. I flip open the album. Page 1. Side-by-side photos of birthday parties. Madison's 5th, a backyard princess castle, ponies, 3-tier cake. Mine the following year, plastic tablecloth, sheet cake, 2 friends in folding chairs. Remember these? I ask. Page after page follows. Christmas mornings with Madison unwrapping electronics while I clutch socks. Graduations where her side of the family section overflowed, mine half empty. Vacations where she posed oceanside while I stayed behind to work. Dad's face reddens. This is ridiculous. We treated you equally. Did you? I slide a folder across the table. Here are my student loan records. $67,000 I'm still paying. Madison's tuition? Fully funded. Even her artistic exploration year in Europe. Madison's cheeks flush. That's not fair. You chose engineering. It was my passion, I say simply. Just like art was yours. The difference is, mine wasn't considered worth investing in. Mom wrings her hands. We didn't have the money when you were in school. Things were different later. I look her straight in the eye. Grandma's inheritance came before my freshman year. Dad's promotion hit when I was 16. You had the money. You just chose not to spend it on me. The silence is thick. I pull out birthday cards next, arranged chronologically. Madison's are filled with glittering words. So proud of you, our shining star. You deserve the world. Mine? Work hard. Be responsible. You'll be fine. Dad clears his throat. We always knew you'd succeed. You didn't need the encouragement. There it is, I say softly. The truth behind it all. You thought being capable meant I deserved less love. My voice steadies even as my eyes sting. Being responsible didn't mean I should carry everyone else's burdens. Mom finally breaks into genuine sobs. We never meant to hurt you. Intent doesn't erase impact, I answer, calm but unyielding. From my purse, I lift the last item. The plastic piggy bank. Its hollow clatter against the table makes them all flinch. Dad sneers. What is this nonsense? I pop the rubber stopper. Dozens of crisp $2 bills spill out, fanning across the polished wood. I've saved one every week since Christmas, I say. Not because of the money, because of what you thought I was worth. The bills catch the light, unfamiliar currency demanding attention. Madison picks one up, turning it in her hand. For once, her voice is quiet. I never realized how it looked from your side. I nod. You never had to. Her eyes drop. They never taught me to stand on my own. Outside the library, laughter and music filter and relatives gathering for love and commitment, while in here, we confront decades of its absence. I rise, sliding the album and documents back into my purse, but leaving the pile of $2 bills on the table. I don't want apologies, I say, standing tall. I want change. I'll consider reconciliation under 2 conditions, I tell them, my hand steady on the doorknob. 1, family therapy. 2, respect for my boundaries. Dad starts to argue, but Mom presses her trembling hand against his arm. We'll do it, she whispers. Whatever it takes. I gather the photo album, the documents, and the piggy bank, but leave the neat stack of $2 bills spread across the table. That's yours to keep, I add. A reminder of what happens when you value one child over another. When I step into the hallway, the noise of wedding music rushes back into my ears. Relatives pass with smiles and chatter, unaware of the storm that just broke inside those walls. My chest feels lighter than it has in years. She's different now, I hear Madison murmur behind me. And then, almost reverently, she's right. 1 year later, Christmas morning, sunlight spills across the hardwood floors of my San Francisco apartment, painting everything with warmth. The scent of rosemary and sage drifts from the oven, laughter bubbling around my kitchen island. This is my home, my table, my life. To Sam, Monica says, raising her glass, curls catching the glow of the window lights. Who builds bridges better than anyone I know, whether in engineering or in life? Heat flushes my cheeks, but I let the toast land. For once, I don't duck the praise. Elliot adds, clinking his glass. And to the project manager who delivered Richardson Tower 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Sustainability, efficiency, and style. His eyes sparkle when they meet mine. His hand brushes against mine under the table. It still sends a current through me, not a lightning strike, but something steadier. Enduring. I smile back. This isn't infatuation. It's a foundation. The kitchen timer dings. I'll get it, I say automatically, moving to the oven. Need help? Elliot asks, following. I've got it, the old reflex kicks in, but I stop myself. I remember my therapist's words, accepting help doesn't make you weaker. It makes you human. Actually, could you carve the turkey? I never learned how. His grin is soft. Consider it done. My phone vibrates on the counter. A video call from Madison. I take a breath, then answer. Merry Christmas. Her face fills the screen, tired but different. Behind her, a modest apartment. No leather couch, no glittering car in the driveway. You look happy, she says softly. Your place looks beautiful. It feels like home, I answer, angling the camera toward the pottery shelves lining the spare room. Bowls, vases, imperfect mugs, all shaped by my own hands. How are Mom and Dad? I ask. She adjusts the camera. Dad sits in a plain armchair, looking smaller, quieter. 90 days sober today. The meetings are helping. He's different. I nod, not sure I'm ready to believe, but willing to let the possibility exist. And Mom's volunteering at the community center. She wanted to be on this call, but they had an emergency food drive. Madison pauses. They ask about you. Not the old way. More curious. Respectful. We talk for a few minutes more before she signs off. Dinner winds down. Friends laugh. Stories overlap. Wine flows. After dessert, my phone buzzes with 2 messages. The first is from Madison, a photo of a clay ornament, lopsided and painted in uneven strokes. Not pretty, but made with love. Mailing it tomorrow. The second is from Mom. A photo attachment. My childhood dollhouse, the only thing I truly adored growing up. Beneath it, official paperwork. The deed. Transferred to me. I stare at the screen until tears blur the words. Later, after everyone leaves, Elliot helps with the last dishes. We step out onto the balcony, wrapped in blankets against the December chill. San Francisco Bay glitters below, bridges glowing like necklaces across the water. Buildings I helped design rise against the skyline. My skyline. Deep thoughts? Elliot asks, his voice gentle. Just grateful, I whisper, leaning into his warmth. The piggy bank sits on the mantel inside, visible through the glass door. But it's different now. Filled not with $2 bills, but with singles, each one representing a lesson, a boundary, a choice I claimed for myself. My worth isn't something I have to earn by being useful, I murmur to the city lights. It's what I decide not to accept. Elliot kisses the top of my head. The steady current of his presence anchors me. Sometimes, the greatest gift is realizing what you won't accept anymore. And sometimes, the second greatest is learning to accept love when it's freely given.